So how did the nominees do in their final face-off? CBS 4's DeFede and anchor Rick Folbaum break down the night in Las Vegas.
All right, Jen, let's start with the headline that is most likely at the top of morning newspapers all over the country. I will look at it at the time. That was Donald Trump's answer last night when he was asked whether or not he would accept the results on Election Day if he loses. How is that likely to play?
Not well. I mean, look, what's fascinating about this is Donald Trump was doing marginally well in this debate. He was hitting a lot of themes that are good for him. He was hitting the economy. He was hitting on trade. He was holding her accountable on a number of things with regard to the WikiLeaks filings. He talked about the Supreme Court. He talked about being pro-life, NRA. He was building some momentum there. And then it's as if he can't get out of his own way, and he stumbles into this area. He starts talking over her, and then suddenly declares that he's not sure if he'll accept the results of the election. And so all that good work that he built up in the first half of the debate is for naught. And what's worse is he was given 2 chances at it. Chris Wallace came back and asked him a second time, and he almost made light of it, saying, "I'll keep you all in suspense." Look, this is fundamental to our democracy, this idea of a peaceful transition of power. We've had it for 240 years, and this suddenly becomes the story out of what should have been a decent night for Donald Trump.
If you look at the polls heading into the debate, Hillary Clinton had anywhere from a 7 to 9 point lead nationally. Did anything happen? Did she say anything? Did the WikiLeaks line of attack make any kind of a dent to change the narrative here?
Look, even before Donald Trump stumbled, I thought he did well, but he didn't really change the game. And I thought she did well of trying to needle him, and make the points that she needed to. She reached out. She'd answered very well for her base in terms of the question about a woman's right to choose. She talked about immigration in a way that was inclusive and expansive for Hispanics. Those are 2 key groups. That's why she is doing so well with women. She's up 17 points with women. It's a staggering number that Donald Trump cannot overcome. But I thought what was fascinating was at the very end of the debate, the last question was, make a closing case to the American people. Tell them what you think. And they didn't know they were going to get this opportunity at the end. And what does she do? Hillary Clinton talks about being inclusive. She's looking almost beyond November 8th. She's saying, I want to reach out to Republicans, the Democrats, the independents. I want to bring people together. I want to give you an idea of what my first term would be like. Then you turn to Donald Trump. And what does he do for his 1-minute close? His last chance to talk to the American people? He went negative on her. It's a message difference between her trying to say, I'm being inclusive and we'll move forward, and Donald Trump still trying to drag her down into the mud. It just doesn't settle right, and I think this doesn't change anything, and in ways sort of seals the deal for Donald Trump.
Well, he did say, in all fairness, I want to make America great again. Went back to the slogan that he has really been riding throughout this entire campaign.
And that really is the shame of it. Donald Trump won the primary with a populist message that resonated with a lot of people about unfair trade deals, about the economy, about worker disparity, all those things. And yet he couldn't stay on that message through this campaign, and that's what cost him.
19 more days to go until Election Day. We'll have it covered for you right here on CBS 4 News.